Hey, what's going on, everybody?
What's going on?
What's happening? Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, loud and clear. Can you hear me?
That's what's awesome. Yeah, I got you. Actually, give me a second here. I got one of my brothers here. Uh, I got on the wrong headset. That's why I was here. I got so much equipment up here. Give me a second here. I'm going to actually bring my other brother in, Brother Linda. Give me a second here. Let me bring him in. There he is, Brother Linda.
Yes, sir.
Am I echoing on the side?
Nah, we good.
Okay, good. Hey, welcome everybody to the Cipher, everybody. Welcome to the Shelter TV, Planet Network, NPNTv.
You echoing now, though.
Oh, am I?
Yeah, when you talk fast, you're echoing.
No, okay. Slow down my tone. Let me turn. Give it a second here. What's going on, brother?
You gotta excuse me. I'm moving from spot to spot, meeting to meeting, camera to camera, but I'm here now.
I got you. Well, I come here the six. Brother Chris, place, General. Just waiting for Bob to come in. Drop again soon.
Yeah, you still vibrating pretty hard. I can barely understand what you're saying.
Oh, that's true. Trying to get all this in over here, man. I'm working on studio at the same time. Sorry, recorded. Man. But go ahead and speak. I'm sorry. Can you hear me, Dwayne?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Go ahead and speak. I'm sorry for interrupting.
Right after you say go ahead, everything sounds jumbled up.
Oh man. Hold on one second. I might have to go with it. What about now?
Right after right about now.
You can hear me at all?
It's after you say the first two words, everything else jumble up.
It's an echo. It's a lot of feedback. You can hear I can hear myself feedback also. So I can hear somewhere that's going back.
I can hear the gentleman in the red very clearly. Sheldon, I think you may, like you say, may have something else going on there. Yeah, Sheldon, if you're speaking, I can't hear you at all.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can.
Yeah. I think we live like so you know, just I got growing things right now. So I just want to welcome you first and foremost. But go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Hold on for 1 second.
Brother Chris.
What's going on? It's the General, Father the Six. How you doing? Can't hear you.
I know I'm echoing.
Right? Yeah.
You there?
I'm loud and clear. Can you hear me?
I hear you clear. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. It's just you got that feedback going on. I can hear myself also through your audio.
Oh man, that's terrible. But go ahead, brother. We live.
What's going on? It's the Father the Six, the General. I'm happy to be on this platform right now. Just here to spread love. Most of all, learn and transfer. That's it.
All right. I'm gonna echo that. I'm just here to spread a little wisdom. You know, It's funny how things come about. When you learn, you pass. When you pass, you learn. You know, something that my brothers say to me from time to time, you can't be in the dark without having the light, and you can't be in the light without having some dark behind you. That's why they call them shadows.
That's good. That's good. You know, I think there's a lot of times, at least as men, okay, and I'm not speaking for mankind all together, but sometimes the men that I've known and grown and experiences, at times we are afraid to be vulnerable. When I say afraid to be vulnerable, afraid to tell how we feel about things, especially to one another. You see what I'm saying? Me coming from the Marine Corps, they teach you or not teach you, but you learn to compartmentalize a lot of things, which means that you just kind of tuck it into one spot all the way in the back, put it in there, lock it up, and don't open it. You see what I'm saying? Until you get to that point where it's like rage and then everything comes out. But I want to get past that barrier. You see what I'm saying? Because I don't want to be a pack rat, like I tell my kids. Don't pack rat your emotions. Don't hoard them up. So, you know, I'm here for some real talk. I'm here to learn, listen, and give back. Because a lot of times, me as a younger father, I may bring something to the table that my old school, my OGs may not have thought about at the time, and then vice versa. You know what I mean? It's about each one teaching one.
Well, you got a point on that, man. We learn until we stop learning, and you know, actually, if you're alive and you've decided to stop learning, then essentially you just died.
Absolutely. So one of the questions I pose to some people, and I tell my kids this a lot, I'm like, okay, how can you duplicate the best of you? How can you duplicate the best of you? And then on top of that, how many times can you duplicate the best of you? And I think in that process, you have to know who you are in order to duplicate the good parts of yourself. And then once you start to practicing duplicating the best parts of you, you can master it.
Well, I think you duplicate. That's a really, really interesting question. As a father, you duplicate the best of you by raising your sons correctly. You know, I often tell my sons, my oldest son especially, I mess with him constantly about his kids. I say, you need to remember, son, I get judged by the way you raise your kids because they see my job to you by your job to your children. And I think the best thing I ever did, no matter my career, helping people, whatever, best thing I ever did was raise my kids. That in itself is the best of me. Whether it be park, fishing, football, whatever, the best thing I ever did in my life was raise my kids. So if I can get them to at least duplicate some of the things I did for them with their kids, then I think my job and my will has been done. A lot of men today, it's like we get confused by our role in our children's lives. You know, another thing is I've told my daughters, and I tell other people, oh, by the way, I got 5. I've raised 5 kids. So I'm right behind.
We up there with each other. I got 3 girls, 3 boys.
I got 7 grandkids now, so I'm rolling.
Woo! Big leagues.
Yeah, but I told a coworker when he asked me about how do you know if you've done a good job with your daughters, and it was funny when I first said it because it came out of nowhere. But you know you've done it. You know, as a man, as a father, you've done a good job with your daughters when your daughters can't find a man. Now, I'm gonna repeat that. When you know as a father you've done a good job with your daughters, not so much when they can't find a man, but when it's hard for them to find a man. Because when it's hard for them, when you've done your job as a father, a strong father, a father in their life, it ain't a lot that the other guys out there gonna be able to get away with them. treating them bad, saying bad things, not doing. If you've been a father, a right father, like my daughters, whew, goodness gracious, my son-in-laws laugh at me all the time, and I look at them, I be like, goodness, faith and strength be with you. But I raised my daughters to understand that don't take it from no man. If he's not gonna come correctly as a man, step away and just either give him time to grow or give somebody else a chance.
That's an interesting point that you said, because I'm more along those lines. I tell them this. First off, before you find anyone, you need to find yourself. Okay? You need to find who you are. Because how can you know what you want if you don't know who you are? How you know you may like somebody who watch TV all day and play PlayStation? You see what I'm saying? If you're not interested in that, or you're not wanting to sit down in the house all day. You see what I'm saying? So don't waste someone else's time as well as wasting your time. So find out who you are first. Focus on what you like, your dislikes. Yeah, focus on your dislikes. Focus on it in the sense of, you know what? I know this is the stuff I don't like. Let me hold on to this and put it to the side. And I'm not even gonna go towards that direction. And if there's anything that illuminates, radiates, or even magnetized to pull this towards, I need to move myself away from it, because it's not what I want. Only because I know who I am. And knowing who you are is an everyday job. Because we are growing every day. And some people are growing up and some people are falling down. So it's always movement. You see what I'm saying? It's about which direction you're going. And I think as a parent, last thing, I think as a parent, my job is to prepare you for real life. How do I prepare you for real life? By empowering you, giving you the tools that you need to operate out there in the real world. It's the general.
But it's funny you said that. It's funny you said that little knock about knowing what you don't like. I'm about to step back into the marriage game after 11 years from a real bad, crazy divorce. Man, I learned the hard way on that one. Whew, goodness gracious! You remember that one, don't you, Shelton?
Absolutely, I remember it. Listen, am I echoing?
Nah, not anymore.
Yeah.
Oh,
Chris,
wait.
Maybe you have, Chris, do you have a speaker on in there, or your microphone's up, or anything like that going on? Because I think it really seems like a feedback on your for some reason.
Well, I can hear you clearly now.
No echo?
Hold on, let me see if it's me.
But I hear myself.
Hey, listen, everybody, my brother Suave is in the spot too. I cannot neglect him. That's my brother. Brother Suave.
What's going on, Suave?
Oh man, welcome in. This is a father's conversation right now, so I'm feeling this thing.
Yeah, man. I'm like, I'm listening to the brothers, as I was excited about today's topic. First of all, I always take pride in being a man, because there's a big difference between a grown boy, adult male, and a man, and so I take pride in that. So the same thing, I take pride in being a father. I'm not a sperm donor or a old daddy. I'm just a father who took pride in it. And so when I'm listening to these brothers' convictions, obviously they feel the same way about their status. And so what I was, just listening and just talking about the topic today, the thing that connects us all today is that we all fathers. We all us have fathers, no matter if they're dead or living, or the relationship good or bad. We all have fathers nonetheless. And so for me, I take pride in it. And a lot of times, men, fathers, we haven't always got the credit that we deserve, but at the end of the day, people really desire, need, and have and want their fathers. Over the years, you hear these stories about, well, my father was not there for me. But it's sometimes a backstory to that, but, nevertheless, we want them. So sometimes we have struggles coping with it, but at the beginning of it, it's real love for your father, the desire to have him. And sometimes when you don't, you find some way to cope because you're getting disappointed, and sometimes you get frustrated. And so you say some of the things you really don't mean. And then when something happens, We're back.
Okay.
Well, anyway, yeah. So, just to share, how I know how sometimes people cope. So, I was on a daddy issues tour, and it was evident that so many people wish they had their fathers, but they always said, "I'm good without them." You heard this. I'm good. I'm good. But at the end of the day, we wish we had them. And what we do now is try to take pride in that because we know how important it is to have a father. And I will hear these people, like me being a therapist. One of the people was saying, "Well, what you looking at? You don't know me. I'm good without a father." And I said, "It's okay, but when I get this thing going, you'll see how much you need." And so I do hypnotherapy. And so what I did was hypnotize the person, tap into their subconscious. And I said, one of the questions after I hypnotized them, I asked them, I said, "Listen, tell me what you want to hear from your father. Tell me what you always wanted to hear from your father. Now, I'm your father. Put your hands in mine and tell me what you want me to tell you." And they said, "I always wanted you to tell me that you was proud of me and that you loved me." And they broke down. See, this is the things we harbor. We want this, but we find our way of coping and saying, "I'm good without it." We have to find some way to cope and deal with the things we really want. But we know in our heart, this is really what we want our father. And so what we're going to do is all of us, our fathers, and like I said, we have in common, is we're going to be the best fathers. But first of all, be the best man we have to, because we start off being a man and we learn and try to work on being the best possible man we can, because we have to be that before we even meet fathers. That's like, it's as a supplement to who we are in our existence. And so what we do is we try to be the best man we can, because we constantly evolve and we constantly growing and we constantly learning. And one of the things I always say is the one thing I'm adamant about is not being adamant about anything. I don't want to be so convicted on anything that I'm not willing to grow or learn. And so I'm just happy to be a part of this panel today. I'm happy the brothers are here. Listen, man, I'm happy. I love you guys, man. I'm just so excited about being able to just, it's like we breaking bread. I speak in literal and figurative terms. We are breaking bread tonight, man. And I'm just happy and I'm excited. Sorry I just took up so much, but I'm all excited about today's subject matter.
I'm definitely excited too. I want to appreciate you guys. I kind of went ahead and figured things out and figured out what we have to do is we have to stay muted when everybody can't have their mic open. So that's one thing I came to discover. Yeah. Where you at, brother? Where my brother at? Where's Dwayne at? Dwayne done disappeared.
Dwayne, I told you a genius on this.
There he is. I got him. There he is. Hey, Dwayne, you gotta mute your microphone so we won't echo, man. There you go. See, now everybody's sounding smooth. Hey, this is just the first step. Like I said, you see I'm growing. I got another camera view on this side. So, man, hey, listen. Today, you know what? Matter of fact, this is Corkscrews, Cocktails, and Conversation. So, you know what? I'm going to pour me a toast to all of you brothers for coming in and rocking with me. Brother Father to Six, I met him on I don't know. I was on one of my other profiles, one of my other media profiles, and I had something to come up to say that said live. So I went on and I saw the young brother start talking about fatherhood, and for me, it moved me because I have a young son that just had a kid in January. So I got a new granddaughter. I got a new grandson. So the generations are starting to build. You know what I'm saying? So when I started getting a chance to be able to talk to brothers, and especially seeing a young brother at his age being so serious about fatherhood, to me, it moved me. And brothers, you know how we are. We all service. We've been servicing for so long in our lives. We've been doing for others just genuinely so long in our lives that to see a young brother doing it, it actually pulled me toward him, because I was a young brother out there by myself doing it too. And everybody was trying to figure out, well, why are you doing that? You ain't getting paid to do it. Y'all know the time already. Brothers, come on, man. I ain't got to break it down. Y'all already know the time. Y'all went through it too. That's why we all here, because we like-minded, like-spirited. It's just been a blessing to be able to run into the brothers that I have and being able to have y'all brothers in this cipher. And now to be able to talk about it and let this young brother talk about his passion, it just drives me to do even more. You know, it drives me a lot more just to see his passion and for him to do it. And I'm glad to be able to have him in to be able to kick it with us OGs, because you know what? We all here to soak up game from everybody else. We all here to share the stories. And one thing about fatherhood, you can never tell enough stories about that, especially being a black father. And that's the powerful part about it all, because I know you two other brothers. I know the fathers that you are. Y'all make me proud to be a black king and to have my black princes and princesses around me. You know what I'm saying? And as a matter of fact, Brother Suave just celebrated his son 18th. Huh? So, and it was memorable.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it was beautiful. You know, and,
It was fantastic.
Absolutely. So to have you guys in, man, it's really big. It's really important. And to have fathers to be able to talk amongst each other, especially us brothers to be able to talk amongst each other, to have the understanding that our kids are our kids, even though they're our friends, we still their parents. Huh? Somebody chime in and talk with me now.
Well, whoa.
That's all right. I got you.
All right. Y'all can hear me?
Loud and clear.
All right. So now I'm gonna swing the broomstick. I'm gonna swing the broomstick about fatherhood. What my beef with today's fatherhood is. So on your mark, get ready. Let's go. My biggest problem with today's fatherhood is not brothers that don't want to be fathers. I'm gonna get to them though. I'm gonna get to them. My biggest problem today with fatherhood is the lack of respect that today's woman gives a real father. The fact that today's woman loved them dearly, but today's woman feels they should be celebrated on Father's Day. That today's woman feels any excuse to tell their children that that man is not a man for any kind of reason. We fighting for our dear lives and our fear and our titles here. We got to a point where we fighting for Father's Day, bro. We fighting for Father's Day. Seriously. I look around and you get women want to be told Happy Father's Day. Unless you have a couple of things that you was born with that you ain't showing the crowd, you're not eligible for Father's Day. And then they get mad when you tell them, listen, if a man raises his kid by himself, he don't qualify for Mother's Day. So how do you figure you qualify for Father's Day? You could say you was a mother and a father, but you was just a mother doing an extra job, which I applaud you, but you're not a father. And I take offense to that because I am a father. So I'm not going to sit back and let you equalize what you do to what I've done at all. You get mad all you want, but I'm just not. I applaud you if you a single mother, but I'm not going to get on the bandwagon with you celebrating Father's Day like you walking around doing the job that I've done as a father, because I did a hell of a job, and I'm not going to sit and say that we're equal because we're not. Sorry.
I'm with you on that. You know what, brother? There you go. But you know what? But there's also, I can say that there are a group of women that feel the same way that you feel, that are maybe a couple of generations older. And matter of fact, there's still some of them in those older generations that feel the same way, that they should be wished a happy Father's Day for whatever reason or another. But I think that that's an issue too, is the relationships or the former relationships between the parents. I think that the kid get lost in the sauce when it come down to the relationship with the parents, and it cause a lot of hurt and challenges with the kids because of the relationships, because the custodial parent may act in a certain way that doesn't allow that non-custodial parent that cares about their kid to be able to interact the way that they should. And then now they got to go through the process again after they've went through a process, to go through a process again of being able to legally be able to spend time with their children when they want to or whenever they have scheduled to. That's unfortunate that the relationships between the parents sometimes is not amicable and it's not in the best interest of the child. And that's where I think a lot of children get lost in the saucer because of those relationships. And then they feel as though they have to choose. You follow me? So, you know, that's a difficult thing. But I do agree with you, though. Stand on that subject that you know, it's not the point of a woman saying, oh, you know, Happy Father's Day to other women, because I saw that, too. And to me, you know, I don't see eye to eye with that concept.
I'm sorry. Gentlemen, I'm sure you all are cool, but Shelton, you've known me as a father. You know how seriously I take being a father. You know how serious I take it. And you know what? To be equal, the woman that feels like that, sadly, that was most likely caused by a man not doing his job. It was most likely, but still, the fight is a whole circle, and we're really just fighting to. It's bad enough that we have to literally, and I said this to a group Saturday. It's bad enough that we have as black men, as soon as we wake up and walk out the door, we got to take a step backwards before we can take a step forward, because we're seen as a black man before a man. So we got to take a step forward. I mean, a step backwards. As soon as we walk out the door, it's one step back. Then we take a step forward. And a lot of times, it's our own brothers that's making us look bad, and we're giving that female who feels she should be a father. We're empowering her, and I gotta say we, because my brother is my brother, and we're empowering them. So what we should all do, plain and simple, play your role. You are absolutely right about that mother and father thing, Shelton. You know I went through it with my ex-wife, but it's a fight that you're gonna have to fight every day. Do not let somebody take that role of being a father from you under any means or circumstances at all. Because the minute you let, whether it's the court, the in-laws, the lawyers, or the ex themselves take it away from you, I'm sorry, you are now less of a father. And I, after raising 5 kids, I feel like I stand on the grounds when I can tell you that. Because the only people that's suffering from you not being a father is not her, not the courts, but it's your children. Because they're going to grow up. And the type of father that you was, either going to be the type of father your daughter allows to be to her children, or the type of father your son is going to be to his children. One way or the other.
I want to chime in on this. This is a good topic.
Go ahead, brother Chris. Go ahead and speak.
I respect you, brother Dwayne. I feel you, bro. Because let me tell you a little bit of my story. Long story short, I had to get custody of my 3 oldest kids, and I went through the courts and everything else to get like physical custody. So I'm doing it right now. My oldest 3's right in there. You know, they doing anything right now. So I heard you say that, you know, lack of respect from women from today's women, which is right. But I'm gonna tell you from the women that I've seen. You see what I'm saying? And you said something else that kind of resonated with me. You said the fight is in a circle, and it comes back around. So when it comes back around to me, I take a hold of that and change the narrative now. You see what I'm saying? You know how you go for a road trip. It might be like 10 hours long. You know what I mean? Like, hey, bro, you gonna do 5 hours? Wifey, you do 5 hours, or bro, you do the other 5. You see what I'm saying? And we all know the rules when it comes down to driving. Whoever's the driver get to choose the music. You know what I mean? And you choose the speed. So now when I'm driving, we're going to change the channel. We're going to turn it up a little bit. It's going to be a different type of rhythm that you're going to be listening to and experiencing. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to get in the fast lane. I like to drive the fast lane safely. You see what I'm saying? But we're going to maneuver this thing a different direction. You see what I'm saying? So what my perspective is, there's a lot of disrespect from all over, men and women alike. You see what I'm saying? And when I say men, because of, like you said, there's gentlemen out there who do not live up to what fatherhood is supposed to be, and does give us a bad rap. So that's disrespectful on our end too. You see what I'm saying? And then yes, you do have those other women, and it's not every woman, but you do have those special ones who just blatantly disrespect it. Yes, I agree. But it's about unity. And we, for so long as a people, have been separated from unity and cohesiveness, that we have to come back to uniting together, because you don't have to live in the same household to be a great parent. And I say parent to be father or mother. You see what I'm saying? I posted something the other day and it asked, what's the difference between a physical father and someone who's emotionally present? You see what I'm saying? Emotionally present don't mean physically present all the time. But when your child need to reach out, or when you need to reach out, are you doing your part as the parent? You see what I'm saying? Are you really putting it all in? All in. Just like you the sports games come on. You're like, man, Sunday night, I got to get home quickly. Me get to the game. Are you taking that mentality, to your household? Let me go a step further. When that supervisor, that manager is on your behind and telling you, hey, you know what? You might have to get a write-up, or you on your last strike. And we all know that feeling. No man wants to be told he on his last strike. It just, at least to the men I know, it hits that ego. You see what I'm saying? So you know what? I'm coming in and I'm gonna show you how to perform. I'm coming in, I'm gonna give it all in. So are we giving it all in as fatherhood? You know what I mean? And I think that most of the men that I know do. And last but not least, I don't really blame these women and all the others who say these bad things or these things about dads or disrespect us. I feel offended, but I don't really blame them, because this is learned behavior. They've been hearing this from their families for generations on down. You see what I'm saying? So now it's time for us to change the narrative. Let me change what you're hearing, because the mind believes what the mind continues to hear. You see what I'm saying? So that's change what you're hearing. You know what I mean? That's change what you're seeing. You know what I mean? And we got to change what we're eating also. You know what I mean? Physically, spiritually, and emotionally. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I can understand that. I think more so. I can see what you mean, and I can see how your thought process went that way. But I also think that generationally, thoughts are different with sisters. I think that there's a difference between the Generation Z, Generation Y, and millennials. I think that how they was raised in the environment that they came up in, and possibly the principles and concepts that they believe in, might be slightly different. I think that the older generation of women might be their thoughts may be different. I just think about my wife, the way she think about things is different than what you're saying. But I do know young ladies that are millennials, that are 30 somethings, that think the way that you think. I'm not denying that. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where a bridge need to be built is between those generations. I think that makes a big difference, because I think that the younger sisters can soak up some game from the older sisters. I think that, like we were talking about earlier today, Brother Chris, is that, you can get wise counsel all day. We were talking about wise counsel, but if you don't respect wise counsel, you're not listening. And that's just the way that it works. So there's a lot of older generational individuals, are the gap between those generations and the ones that are the older generation. They do have some things that they would like to share. And I would like to welcome Sister Camille in for coming in. Thanks for coming in, sister. And, you're definitely allowed to be able to speak your piece too, because we want the sister standpoint. We want your point of view. We want to know what you think, because I think that that's the important part, that we can understand why. I think the whys are big, and regardless of what the whys are, but still the whys are big. And I think that's what'll help us and allow us to be able to work around things, because like I said, we have a lot of conversations about different subjects, but the point is, do we have resolution about it? So that's what this platform is here, is for brothers to be able to have conversations and speak with each other, as well as to be able to come up with solutions. And Brother Suave, I know that you have some things to say, because I definitely want your point of view.
Well, I do. And okay, so when the brother was talking about being all in, and I guess you say you can cut the everybody put their phone on mute, but nevertheless, when we go all in, and sometimes we allow things to distract us from being the best possible, whatever we can be. And so tonight's topic is like being like fatherhood. And I know we all have our perspectives on how what interferes with our issues. But I think sometimes that if we get sidetracked by things about issues what people doing or how they feel about fathers or fatherhood or Mother's Day, Father's Day, I say those things, what I say can be distractions on how we celebrate being fathers, because all of us are fathers. And I think like, again, you know how sometimes you can get completely sidetracked and you forget about the main objective. And I think me being so excited about celebrating us being fathers, I think I was almost sidetracked because I believe in only being the best father I can be. And so irregardless of how somebody's trying to take my role, I will never let that sidetrack me, deviate, or get me focused on their behavior than being the best father, because we all been there. I've been there. I've been first dates over $25,000 in child support, the very first day. But regardless of that circumstance, I would never let that stop me from being a father, regardless how they started me off in the hole, regardless of the distractions of them saying Happy Father's Day to them. None of that would ever distract me from being the best father I could be, because those are little distractions. And so what I did was stay focused on me being a father, regardless. So what I did was learn how to, like what I do with my clients, teach them how to ignore external stimuli. Those are external stimuli, and I will never let their behavior interfere. I have the courts. I do what I have to do, even the circumstances of the calls and all the discouraging remarks about me. I still ignore them. I would never entertain them. And I would also, and as I share with you, Brett, man, that 18 was great, regardless of all the hardships. I continue to press on. I continue because, see, I have a philosophy. I can is easier than I can't. So I'm always pressing forward. The bottle's half full with me. And so they can say whatever they want. That doesn't define me. And they can say what they want. Because when he was saying, no matter what, they could be a parent, they could be a mother, but they can never be a father. You can't be both. You could be, and so I recognize that. But I'm just saying, I'm not going to let those things distract me, because I'm going to always do what I got to do to be the best father. And guess what? With patience, perseverance, it always work out. I'm talking about even a strange relationship with my son. But guess what? While he was going through his stuff, I continue to believe that eventually work out. It did, and you're talking about every day, calls every day. I'm like, I love being a father, but sometimes I'm in something. I'm like, this dude calling me again. Let me see what he wants. But the thing is, had I not put the work on, had I not believed that it would eventually work out, because they go through their peers believing all that poison, that toxic stuff. But see, how you combat that is continue to strive, continue to show up and show out and show them that you love them. You are a father. So guess what? As they develop, you don't get discouraged, because they're going to believe who's their primary caretaker, who's there for them. And then eventually those numbers not going to add up. So you continue to press forward and show them what a man is, what a father is, and how much you love them, and constantly reinforce you love them. I mean, I heard I love you all my life. So my sons are used to hearing that. We say it all the time because I grew up with it, and my old boy grew up with it. And I know what it is to be a man, a father. And so I don't say anything to try to discourage the dialogue. I just like to stay focused on what we're doing, because we're celebrating fathers. We are strong kings, strong men, strong fathers. And I don't let things distract me from celebrating us. We here on our Cipher on some positive stuff. And I'm going to put as much positive energy towards celebrating our topic of fatherhood, because I love y'all. I told you, I love y'all. It ain't even hard for me to say it. Y'all, it's just natural. because it's like we gotta have that positive encouraging towards each other, because we need to support each other, you know. And a lot of us, I know a lot of us haven't had fathers in our life. We haven't had those accountability. We haven't had that intimate relationship with our father where we can have that exchange on man talking to man. But for me, I'm used to it. And I've been actually a father to thousands, man. People who were my age and older. You know, I remember working in the jail and dudes hard. And I used to hug them. They're like, hey, man, that's gay. I'm like, no, bro. Listen, you incarcerated. You hurt. Bro, you need this. You know, I say, nah. Then they will break down and cry. I'm like, nah, stay outside the cell till you get yourself together and then come on in. Because I already know, bro, you going, you ain't never have this. And guess what? What I show you here, you're going to get out one day and you do whatever you can while you in here to be the best man. So when you step out them gates, you continue to be the best man you can, but also you go out there and be a father. And that's what I have to say about it.
You know, I was thinking about. I had a conversation about 3 days ago after I spoke to a class, and then I guess it was in the atmosphere, and it popped up somewhere on social media. So the question was, actually, it was about women. Today's woman, should she serve her children or her man first? And when he asked me that, I was like, well, let me make sure you're asking me correctly. Should a woman serve her man or her child first? And he said, yeah, Linda, what do you think? What's your thoughts on it? I said, well, that's a two-part question. I said, well, the man of the house, and I'm going to say it clearly, because I said it clearly to him, and I responded clearly. The man of the house should be served his plate first. The man of the house should be served his plate first. But no father should ever eat before his child. He sat there and looked at me like, I said, that's real. No father should ever sit and take a fork to his mouth before his child eats. And, you know, and I strongly believe that, because fathering, parenthood, but especially being a father, is sacrifice. You know, some people have certain things that they take more than anything. I've worked a very long time and I've accumulated a lot of things, but I'm going to show you probably the most important, valuable thing I have in my life. And that is this right here. That is a picture of my children, all 5 of them. This hangs on my wall.
Bring it closer.
Huh?
Bring it closer. I want to see it, man.
Of course, Shelton, of course, you know, Junior's the one without the right shirt on. But people do not understand how important a man's children is to him. I mean, are to him. They don't understand that. And when you find a man, you know, I've been told that I've been obsessed by my children. You know what? That's the truth. Because they're God in life. They're going to have a lot of people to push them, show them, teach them. But they're God in life. That's my job. My job. Not somebody else's job. The teachers help. Everybody else's can help. But that's my job. And it's my job to put them before me and before everything except for my God and my wife. That was something that I learned later on in life. The steps, the perspective, and the priorities. And at some point in my life, I might have been a little too much of a father and was too focused on my kids. But that's what I was. That's what I always have been. Hopefully, that's what I'm always be. And sometimes we forget how important the sacrifice it is as a man. And I'm going to add now, going back to what you said earlier about what you didn't want. It's funny how when I met the new lady of my life, I couldn't really tell her what it is that I wanted out of a relationship. I really couldn't think of anything. But boy, when she said, "What is it that you don't want?" I'm like, "Man, listen, let me get a piece of paper and a pencil and 2 pencils, because this is gonna be a long list."
Well, you should have just had a pen. That's it.
Man, look, I am still writing them down. But I but I say that to say, now that I have who I believe is the right woman in my life, being a father has a different thought process. And I say that to say, just like in almost every aspect of life right now, the right man has to have the right woman. I believe that wholly now, because the right woman was brought to me and it changed my whole perspective of life. And she'll help you keep you grounded, because she'll help remind you, not in a bad way or a finger pointing way, but she'll help keep you reminded of what a father is supposed to do. You know why? Because she will constantly do what a mother is supposed to do. And when you have a woman that is a strong mother, you will strive to be a strong father. That's real.
I totally agree with that. And you know, one thing I say on my platform, I say this: the fatherhood is not just men. The fatherhood is grandma who raised them boys up back in the day when, you know, mom and dad had other things to do, but wasn't available. You know what I mean? Fatherhood is that Miss Brown, that next door neighbor. You see what I'm saying? Or Mr. Brown, that next door neighbor who, "Hey, come here, General, come here. You know, if I tell your daddy that you was doing X, Y, and Z, what he gonna do to you? All right, now, go ahead and run along now." Fatherhood is that coach and those teachers who stay extra after school, who ain't getting paid. You see what I'm saying? To put a little bit extra in, you know, Johnny boy. You know what I mean? Fatherhood is my mom's, my best friend's mother. You know what I mean? She's Caribbean. They from Jamaica. They from Guyana. And they take me in as their own son. And we sit down and break bread like we breaking bread right now. Because I wanted to mention that earlier. In Brooklyn, when you break bread with someone, eating someone, that's a solidification of another step of the relationship. Because you just don't go into someone's home and they eat, you see what I'm saying, without being special or being an invitation. And then growing up in Brooklyn, you're on guard all the time. So before you bring somebody inside, past the barrier, inside here, and to break bread, it means a lot. You see what I'm saying? So fatherhood to me is all of those who create the experience for that man to be a father. Now, I just want to focus on, just like you said, Brother Suave, the positive folks, because there's a lot of negative that impact us to be fathers also. But fatherhood to me is those positive influences that shape the experience and make that man into a father. That's the fatherhood to me, you know, experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I get you. But again, this is my point. And the brothers, you can't be a father if you're a mother. You could be a parent. That could be the village, my brother.
Yes.
But that can't be a father. So again, you could be a parent. You could be the village. But you can't replace the father. It's like no matter how great a father, if I raise a child, I can never be a mother. I could be the parent and I could be the father, but I can never be the mother. So that's what I'm saying. Right. So the grandmas, they are the grandmothers, they are the villagers, they are the elders, but they are not the fathers. You understand? And I know we like to give, but we all have limitations. So for us, all of us happen to be men, no matter how much we can identify, if we felt that we was a man in a female body, we all have limitations. We'd never give birth. So we can't change because it sounds good or we want to give them the much recognition they want. No matter how great they are, no matter how much they contribute to our life and help the village, they can never be fathers. And that's the thing about me. I can never be replaced. You understand? Because my part is like, for example, what makes us even perfect is we having a sperm and they having an egg, and we come together and create perfect human beings. But we can all, it's like a man is a man, a woman's a woman, a mother's a mother, a father's a father. Father can never be a mother, and a mother can never be a father. They could be great village, they could be great contributors, mentors, and everything. But this is why we have names and things have meanings. And sometimes we strategically over the years change the definitions for our personal convenience and creating our own philosophy. But the reality is they just, again, they are our village. And they doing what responsible people do. And responsible people have no gender. It's just a responsible person who's contributing and giving back to the lives of our youth. You know, and that's just what I'm saying. And sometimes we learn socially, but sometimes we got to unlearn certain things that's sort of misleading, so to speak. And so again, we on positive stuff, and our dialogue is very strong. And then me, like, I'm tripping because they call me the OG now. I'm like, wow, I'm them now. And I'm like, wow, half a century club. Like, and I'm like, wow, I can't even believe, you know, I got my AARP card and all that. And I'm like, man, this is crazy. But it's my obligation to address these issues when I feel a certain way. Because again, it's a difference between being smart and wise. And as me becoming an elder, I have to address certain issues. And I try to do it in a diplomatic and respectful manner. So I hope I don't offend, but it just, as becoming that elder type, I have to address particular issues.
Now, I respect that, my brother. I do. And I'm never would ever give away the title of fatherhood itself. So I guess what I was trying to say is this: the experiences that we receive make the father himself. That's my whole message. Nobody else can be a father, just like the gentleman is saying. You know, father is a man. Yes. It's not the single mom, it's not the grandmother, it's not the neighbor. It's the actual person who helped create that child. So yes, I totally agree with you, my brother. Yes.
Yeah, and that's something that we were speaking about earlier this week. Remember, Chris, we were talking about that, General, because you were actually doing a post and doing a live at the time, and I mentioned that. I say, you know, it takes a village, and that's one thing that I think that resonates here. But what I would like to do is hear for the sister if she would like to speak. I know she's sitting here soaking it up and listening to us brothers talk, but if you would like to, sister, you know, the floor is open for you. Go ahead and say what you have to say. And welcome into the Cipher. Welcome into Sheldon TV Live on Friday Eve. Go ahead.
Well, thank you for having me. So I'm enjoying listening to you gentlemen, and I actually don't disagree with anything I've heard. A woman can love her dearly, raise wonderful people, but you know, we cannot be a father, and the opposite is true as well. Yeah, I don't want to. I feel like there's like a lot more that I would like to hear before I really give too much of my opinion. But in general, I absolutely agree with everything you guys are saying. So
I like to say this.
We appreciate that.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I didn't mean to cut you off. But understand this forum here is an open forum. It's all about love in here. So there's no judgment zone here. No one takes anything personal. It's just we're here, and again, this is what we call Corkscrews, Cocktails, and Conversations. So here's a toast to everybody tonight. Since nobody else have their toast, I'm toasting to y'all tonight. It's Friday Eve, so I'm toasting to everybody tonight.
I really like what Swab said about, you know, just being there and giving somebody a hug. And you know, my son, he's 14. My other son, my oldest son is 13, and I have a 5-year-old. And my 14-year-olds and my 13-year-old, I still kissed them and hugged them and embraced them. And I tell them, I said, kiss your dad. Kiss your dad. Come on. You know what I mean? And I give them a good wet one. You know what I mean? And I know it's kind of cliche, you know, because, you know, I grew up with my mother until I was around 16. That's when I moved with my dad. And my mom told me every day she loved me. She told me every day I can be anything. You see what I'm saying? And my dad, you know, he didn't do as much hugging, you know what I mean? Because, you know, my mothers are more intimate, you know, that's cool. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you know, I wanted to change that dynamic because I never seen none of my friends' dads hug them. I never seen that. You see what I'm saying? So now I hug all my kids, and it's a rule in the house. You do not go to bed without giving me a hug and a kiss. I don't care what we go through. You see what I'm saying? Because I want to change the actual narrative. You know what I mean? Things that I didn't start off like that. You know what I mean? I didn't start off like that. And I think that example, that's what fatherhood is also. Example. Because one of my homeboys told me like, yo, bro, you changed my life, bro. I'm like, how I changed your life, bro? You changed my life. And that's the kind of connection I want, where we changing each other's lives. But he told me, yo, I hear you every time I'm on the phone with you, bro. Like, you give your kids a hug, you kiss them. Like, he's from a different culture, and I'm gonna touch the culture part too. He's from Jamaica. He's like, you know, we don't, you know, the guys don't do that. You know what I mean? We just, you know what I mean? So in their culture, the men get the plate first. You see what I'm saying? The men get the plate first. So when it comes to serving, because that was one of my things too, you know what I mean? Growing up in the Caribbean style area in Brooklyn, I felt the same way. You know what I mean? But this is how I see it. It depends on the culture of the home. You see what I'm saying? The culture of the home. That's what I believe. So in your home, your castle, your sovereignty, you see what I'm saying? That's how they do business there. Cool. You know, when in Rome, you know what I mean? As they say, do as the Romans do. So it's up to us as fathers to create the culture that we want. And one last thing, and I said on one of my shows, I said, we are the superintendents. We are the chancellors of education for our kids. And I say that all across the board, because if in my school district, if I don't like what my kids is learning from the school, I could put them in private school, or I could move. You see what I'm saying? Or I could teach them myself. So what do we want our children to know? We are the ones who can create the new history. You see what I'm saying? Or excuse me, the future, I should say. You see what I'm saying? So I just think that we can just, when it comes to that, whatever is your culture, whatever you want your son or daughter to follow, it's okay. And most of all, they should know how to respect the next person's culture and what they do, because that's what you're gonna have to do when you get with a woman. You see what I'm saying? Or my daughter get with a man, they're gonna have to be interconnected. That means a voting member is voting on diplomacy, so to speak, interconnected. We depend on one another. So as you might give me the plate first, I might do something else first. You see what I'm saying? I might go out there and cut the grass and do the yard work or whatever. Or I might go fix something that, you know, change the tire. I know one homegirl, she's like, she don't ever put gas on her car because her husband always gasses the car. You see what I'm saying? Cool. That's how y'all do in your relationship. But I respect you for that, my brother. I respect you, my sister. And I teach my kids just to respect another household, another castle, another sovereignty.
Okay. To build on something that was said. Hello? There we go.
Go ahead, brother.
To build on something that was said earlier, we as men, black men especially, we have to normalize showing love to one another without feeling ashamed or thinking something's wrong with it. I heard gentlemen say giving hugs. I've heard, you know, we have to, mental health issues is running amok amongst the black men, amongst the black male, the black father, the black man, whatever you want to call it. The mental health issues is running amok because in our age group, we was raised to not be soft and not look like a punk or not this, that, and the other. I felt that with raising my sons, that was something that I had to break. And it's really funny to me how my sons are bigger than I am. And it's funny when in public they grab me, want to wrestle, hug, and play and show that type of affection, because people look at it weird. Shelton, you know my sons. They just big, playful, whatever. But we have to normalize that, not just with our sons. We have to normalize that with each other. We have to be able to share what's hurting us, what's ailing us. I let the males in my family know. I let the males in my circle, and Shelton, you can vouch for this. I let the males in my family, in my circle, know that you are kings to me. If I didn't think you was a king to me, you wouldn't be in my circle. And I try to let the males in my family know, number one, I'm here if you ever need me. And number two, I've learned from every man in my circle. So I keep that understanding, and I can let them know constantly. I constantly give them their praise, that if you've taught me something, or if I've learned something from you, I let them know that constantly. And I let my children know, always give respect and praise from who you've learned your wisdom from. I know Sheldon get tired of me telling him from time to time that I wouldn't be the businessman I am without him teaching me how to properly be a businessman. But we have to normalize being able to speak to each other in that way. Brother, I love you. Brother, thank you. King, how are you? This and that. Our society has made that, or has classified that as being gay. But in truth, it's just showing respect and honoring the man that has taken the time to either give you a shoulder, give you an idea, give you a thought, or even sit and tell you, listen, man, it's going to be okay. When we normalize that, things will be better, and we will become stronger, and we will become more trustworthy and open to each other. And then we will be a stronger, more complete gender of male. A lot of people don't agree with that. But if you're not teaching your child to be able to comfort somebody else when they need it, or to be able to be comfortable with teaching somebody else when they need it, or if you're not teaching your child compassion towards another person, even if it is a man, what exactly are you teaching your child for them to go into the future and pass on to the children behind them? That's what we need to look at. And then a lot of men get offended when the women do it. Oh, you turning my son soft. Listen, I call myself a man of all men. I was raised equally. And it is because of the fact that I've had so many women in my life to stop and say, whoa, the hell are you doing? Along with the men that have said, whoa, the hell are you doing? That have made me the man that I am. So if we close off the teachings and learnings and feelings that we should share with other men, we're short-sighting ourselves just because you don't want to look gay. Listen, you're going to be gay. That's you. Ain't nobody going to stop you. You can't stop it yourself. That's just who you are. But if you're going to let that stigma stop you from being a caring, compassionate male who's going to be better for our world and our children, brother, you need to step back and read a book or something, because you're a dinosaur and you're not helping our young males come forward. I mean, in all my time of coaching football with youths, it was very hard to undo that you can't cry because you messed up, you can't this, you can't that. And when young boys and young men don't know how to express themselves, they lash out. it's just like the pot that's boiling on the stove with the top on it. If you don't find a way, the overflow from it is going to be really bad. So we have to, going back to the original, we have to be able to normalize, not only within ourselves, we have to be able to teach our young men that it is okay to speak to the man on your right or on your left and let them know that you're having a problem, instead of sitting there simmering and then you lash out and now you don't know what to do because you didn't know what to do from the beginning. That's something we have to teach, and it starts with our young men. It may end up with old folks like me, but it starts with our young men. And we have to be able to do it. If not, we're going to have a bigger problem than we already have.
Well, I think more so than anything is that it shouldn't be a question of your masculinity. I mean, that's one thing about me. I know I'm a masculine man. There ain't no question about it. You know, I look at my wife, I be like, woo. You know, I don't look at a man like that. So I think that whenever it's a question or it's a point that our young men have to question their masculinity, or question even if being masculine is a bad thing, because it seems as though there are some trends right now which we experience in which being masculine might be something that's toxic or something that's bad. I'm 100%. I'm 110,000% masculine man, but I'm not overbearing with my masculinity, and I don't care about. It doesn't make me question my masculinity because I show another brother love, because I love to see you succeed. I want to be a co-author of your success story. That's why we're all here now, because I want to be a co-author of all these brothers being successful. Because you're only as strong as your weakest link. So if all of us are, millionaires, what can they say? So whenever I fall on my knees, I can come to one of my brothers and say, hey, help a brother out until I can get there. You know what I'm saying? So, I think that, it's so many questionable things right now. But the point is that we have to lead by example. And that's what we're doing now by building our Cipher. I want to bring all the brothers and sisters into this set so we can have conversations. And not only that, like I was stating before, it's not only about the conversations, because the conversations are happening. But the point is anybody resolving those things that we're talking about? And that's why I'm glad that we're here. We're able to speak. I want to welcome my queen in. She's going to always be in the spot. This is my wife, everybody. This is V. She's going to be the host that's going to come on the Smart Black Woman TV. I also have Black Woman TV as another property that I own. And if any of you guys, I know I'm throwing a cheap spot out right now, like you were saying, Brother Suave, before you talk about, you was always throwing the spot in. Listen, Neighborhood Planet Network is one of the only Black-owned public broadcasting networks in the state of Florida. We also incorporated in the state of North Carolina. But if you know any other intelligent creatives or anybody else that is looking to be in, that's indie Black media, or that's looking to be able to have another outlet to be able to spread their story or showcase their skills and talents and be able to be involved with another group of Black individuals, because our purpose here at Neighborhood Planet Network is to brand Black America to the world. We want to tell our own stories. We want to control our narrative, because others are out there controlling our narrative and telling our stories to others about us and what they want others to think about us. But I want us to come on and to tell our own stories. So we have 3 platforms: Neighborhood Planet, NPNTv, which is our video platform, which we're on now. We have NPN Radio, which is broadcasting mixes right now. But you have the ability to be able to go on and play music or whatever the scenario may be when it comes down to that type of thing. And we have our dialogue platform, our podcast platform, which is NPN Voice, which is found everywhere and wherever you subscribe to your podcast on. So we're just looking to brand Black America, to tell our own stories, and to just do it holistically, and to be able to feature you. We want to make everyday superstars, because like I was talking to the brother today, we were talking earlier today, General, your life is a movie. You are the star in your movie. Can I help co-produce that movie? That's what I'm here to do with Neighborhood Planet Network. I'm glad that Brother Suave is one of my board members on Neighborhood Planet. Just to let you know, Brother Suave, I'm gonna send you over a copy, but we got an exemption so we can start fundraising for the network.
Okay.
So we got our exemption so we can fundraise for the network. But again, I want to say thank you everybody for coming in. We know time is passing by and pass by so fast whenever we start having these type of conversations. But we're here to build. We build brand and we broadcast here on Neighborhood Planet. I want to thank you again for coming in, Brother General, Brother Suave, Brother Linder, Sister Camille, myself, and my queen. Like I said, she's going to be coming on Smart Black Woman TV. So Sister Camille, if you know anyone, any sisters that want to come on and be a part of that, please let them know. Again, we're broadcasting on NPNTv. And I'm just happy. I'm just happy that we're building and that we're going in the direction that we're going and that we're building momentum that we're building. Brother General, you know I love what you're doing. Absolutely. To my brother Suave, that Suave-cabulary, Suave-tastic, Swagnificant. You know what I'm saying? Just all of that, my brother. I'm glad to have you here. Brother Linda, you know we go back and we continue to build. Thank you for spreading your knowledge. Thank you for sharing your story more so than anything else. I think that we can learn from each other's stories. So we're here, sister, baby. I'll call you to call you sister. Anything that you want to say to everyone before we get ready to sign off? Because you know we've been on for a little bit over an hour, everybody. So you know time goes fast.
Yes, and I'll make this very sweet and short. Everyone, thank you for all your comments, and it was great. I really liked it tonight. So thank you for joining in, and good night.
Oh man, because we have never had a night like tonight. So we're here every Thursday, right, Brother Suave? And again, my brother Suave is a certified psychotherapist. Even though this isn't therapy, this is therapeutic. That's why he's on every show, because he can relate. And one thing I can say about this particular topic about fatherhood, he is definitely a fantastic. Every brother in here is a fantastic father, including myself. I'm not going to sit here and take it away from me. Huh? But I'm glad that you guys came in. I'm glad for you sharing your stories. I absorbed a lot. And definitely the door is open to all of you to come back in every Thursday. So just let me know. You can reach me at neighborhoodplanet@gmail.com. I'm Neighborhood Planet everywhere. I'm NPNTv everywhere. I'm NPN Radio everywhere. So you can reach me there. And I'm opening the floor for anyone who have any closing comments before we decide to sign off this thing and be able to call it a night. But again, thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. This has really been fulfilling to me tonight because we got this thing going. I'm really enjoying this. Anybody have anything to say before we decide to end this thing tonight? Anybody? Go ahead, Brother General.
Only thing I want to leave and say to everyone who's watching this or who may watch this, and I tell my kids this: impact, intentional impact. What kind of intentional impact will you have with the next person you connect with? And when I say connect, I mean even your mailman or mail lady, the store clerk, that young man that you're coaching, you know, the interaction you have with anyone. What kind of impact or imprint are you leaving? You see what I'm saying? And be intentional about the impact and the impact that you're leaving on someone. So impact, have a positive impact.
Quickly, as I tell my sons when they acted like they didn't want to do nothing in life, when you go to bed at night, when your day is over, think about what you've done that day, who you've helped, what you've said, if anything. And if you wasn't happy with that day, plan it to do something better the next day.
And you know how it is. You know, just remember, great minds reach great places. I love you. I mean it.
Peace. Sister Camille, you have anything to say before we shut it down tonight, sister?
No, just want to say I really enjoyed listening to you gentlemen. All have good points, and I will definitely spread the word.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So listen, everybody, you can always go back and view this on demand. It's going to be on NPNTv on YouTube. I'm on .sheldon.tv.com. It's there. Just if you go to YouTube, please subscribe. And please press the notification bell so that way whenever we decide to go live, because we're making this thing a habit, right, Brother Suave? So we here every Thursday, 8:45. I know we got an odd time, but we do it odd because I know that you'll remember it whenever you have an odd time. 8:45 Eastern time, we're here. You could always go and check out NPN Radio. It's always broadcasting something, regardless if it's neo soul, regardless if it's jazz, regardless if it's R&B, old school soul, hip hop. It's broadcasting something in NPN Voice. We're starting to get active on that as well as far as the podcast. So if you have a podcast that you want to do, you want co-production in your podcast, we have a platform for you. We're distributing on 13 different podcast platforms. So that's basically anywhere, including Apple and Google. So everybody, thanks for the love. Thanks for the time. Thanks for coming in. You know, your time is more valuable than anything to me, and your support. So again, Neighborhood Planet Network, our neighborhood, our world. Thanks, everybody. Peace and have a good night. Be well.